guys, it's Brooke
and Chelsea,
and we're back again with another video. We just wanted to talk about a touchy subject. As a lot of you guys do know, Chelsea and I do have infidelity in our past. I have cheated on Chelsea. Chelsea has cheated on me, and that shit hurts. And I know that's the common stereotype that like once a cheater, always a cheater, but we kind of want to take this video to kind of scrap that. That's not necessarily true, and we wanted to just chat about why we personally think it's not. So in my personal opinion, the biggest reason why cheating is just like terrible and why we would never do it again is because, well, it might feel good in the moment, it's so not worth like screwing up your foundation. Like, I think it's short-term satisfaction really screws up your long-term goals and like the plans that you have with your partner. I just don't think 5 minutes is worth it. And even if, say, you like this other person and you develop feelings and you have like an ongoing affair, however many weeks to months that you guys are doing this thing still is not worth like the years that you can have with someone else.
if you're doing it for the physical side of it, talk to your partner. Don't just jump into something just to get physical satisfaction.
But yeah, I think Chelsea brings up a good point, which is that, you know, you really need to assess why it is that you're cheating. Is it that you feel emotionally disconnected from your partner? Is it that you just need to get, you know, a rise physically? But identifying that even just before you, if you are faced with the decision, you're like, do I cheat in this very moment? You need to ask yourself these questions before you even proceed forward. And you shouldn't proceed forward, obviously. If it's an emotional thing, if you're feeling like connected toward this person and at the same time feeling disconnected from your partner, that's not fair to your partner. Your partner hasn't had the chance to be able to rectify the issues that you guys are having emotionally if you haven't even talked to her about it or him about it before you just move on to giving yourself to someone else.
Yeah, and if it's like you're over the relationship, fucking end it. Why hurt that person by betraying their trust? Just break up with them.
I'm sure if some of you guys are considering cheating and maybe in long-term relationships and you're like, oh, it's not that easy, we have so much history, it's so hard. Right back to my first point, which is it really worth throwing away all that history and all of that like all of that investment that you guys have put into each other? Is it seriously worth just throwing that away at a whim? If the answer is yes, then break up. I mean, either way, it can work itself out if you really give it the chance.
And then if your relationship means so much to you and you want to go ahead and, you know, break their trust, it's gonna take forever if they ever build that trust back with you. If they want to forgive you and continue on in the relationship and try to rebuild that trust, don't think this is going to be an overnight thing. Brooke and I have been back together for 4 years and married for almost 2, and we still work on our trust issues from our past. This is just an ongoing thing. It's not gonna happen overnight because we're human. You know, we know what that feels like, and we go back to, you know, those feelings anytime anything scares us.
Yeah, I think that is a common misconception that people have with cheating. I think people think, you know, maybe you have a timid partner, a partner who doesn't speak up for themselves often. Maybe you are the dominant one in the relationship. Maybe in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, my partner will forgive me. I just gotta say I'm sorry, or I know how to get back on their good side and it'll be over and done with. But even if your partner seems to be okay after you guys have fixed your issue, there's no such thing. Like, they are still hurting from this. They are still gonna suffer, and it's going to take years to get over. It doesn't happen as quickly as I think people think it happens. And this is something that even if you guys end up breaking up at the end, they're then gonna carry on into their next relationship, and you're gonna have to carry that burden in your next relationship as being tagged as the cheaters. And I think that's another thing that stands out to me when it comes to thinking about like, oh, will we ever cheat again? It's like, that stigma sucks. Being the cheater sucks, and no one, like, if even after you turn a new leaf and you're ready to do better, that's something that stays with you.
And another thing, you know, when you've cheated on someone, not only do they have to, you know, build back their trust for you, but then you can become very suspicious, and, you know, you'll be jealous and you'll be like, well, what are you doing? And that's one telltale sign that someone's cheating on you, is out of nowhere they start having all these like possessive and jealousy issues. It's like, well, why do you want to look through my phone? What's in your phone?
That's exactly right, because that's exactly sort of what happened in Chelsea's situation. I'm cheating on Chelsea, but then at the same time, on the flip side, I'm completely paranoid on what she's doing because I know what I'm doing. I mean, turns out it was 50-50, but you know what I'm saying?
Long distance had a huge toll on our relationship.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, Brooke was seeing, you know, someone else, and then was like, you know, coming back to me and saying, I want an open relationship, and then regretting it, and then going back and saying, no, I want to be with you. And so she was having a very huge internal battle, and then I was just so fed up with it that I was just over the relationship at that point, and then I started cheating. And so it was like,
so if you can learn anything from our mistakes is don't cheat if you're feeling like you're starting to get emotionally disconnected, and break up with your significant other before you just go out and cheat if that's what, you know. So we learned a lot from this. And look, here's the biggest thing too. We're older. Like we're older, and to say the stereotype that once a cheater, always a cheater, that doesn't make any sense. Anybody can be faced with temptation. Temptation is around the corner at all times of the day.
And when you're young and immature, it's so easy to give in to that.
So easy. But we have a different perspective on life and a different mindset now. And again, like for me, the priority, what always resonates in my heart is I want to build a foundation. I want to look back 10 years from now and be able to say I was faithful that whole time. Like that feels good, especially coming from a family of divorce. Like being able to build a foundation that has not been tampered with feels really good, and that's a priority for me.
Yeah.
That wasn't my priority back then when I made the decision, but it is now.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, you know, being young and immature, I had come from a background of neither of my parents have had steady relationships. And when I was born, they were only together for like a little while afterwards. So growing up, I never knew my parents together, and I never knew my parents to be in like serious long-term relationships. So for me, I had it, you know, set in my mind that I was, you know, going to find someone and I was going to love them and be with them. And so I'd find myself in these situations where I wanted to be in these relationships, but I was young and immature and inexperienced, and I just wanted to try the world. But for some reason I thought I had to hold on to these things because I was never going to get them.
So that's our thoughts about cheating and all that stuff. This is actually an awesome fan idea, but she actually thought that we should start doing relationship advice Q&As where you guys send us anonymous questions asking specific questions either about your relationship, about love, heartbreak in general, and we give our thoughts. Obviously, we're not love experts.
That can extend to like anyone who has depression, anxiety, bipolar, any kind of mental illness.
Yeah, we definitely plan to bust out more of these. I love this idea, so we want to play up on this for a bit. So yeah, please do. Thank you, Emma Gale, for following both Chelsea and I on Instagram. Please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Please be sure to click the subscribe button. Please be sure to click the little notification symbol next to subscribe button. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for a chance to be shouted out in our videos. I am OMG Brookeberry.
I am OMG Chelsea Berry.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.